The faint echo of drums had become a background noise I had learned to live with. But the darkness surrounding Mr. Adisa's reign wasn't so easily dismissed. After his suspension, I hoped the nightmare was over. However, the truth was far from what I imagined. As the company's investigation deepened, they uncovered secrets far more sinister than anything I had ever suspected. Weeks passed, and I found myself summoned to another meeting with Mr. Collins. This time, the atmosphere was even more intense. The room was filled with top management, their faces grim and serious. "Jide, we need your help," Mr. Collins said, his voice low. "There's more to this than we initially thought. Mr. Adisa wasn't acting alone." My heart pounded. "What do you mean?" Mr. Collins exchanged glances with the other executives before continuing. "The rituals and sacrifices were part of a larger conspiracy. It goes all the way to the top." I felt a chill run down my spine. The drumming in my head grew louder, a constant reminder of the night in the warehouse. "What do you need from me?" "Your experience and insight," Mr. Collins replied. "You've been through it. You might be able to help us understand and expose the full extent of this darkness." Reluctantly, I agreed. Over the next few days, I worked closely with the investigation team. They had uncovered hidden files, secret transactions, and coded messages that pointed to a clandestine group within the company's top management. Their goal was to harness dark powers for personal gain, manipulating employees like pawns in their twisted game. One name kept appearing: Mr. Sefu, the CEO. It was hard to believe that the man I had admired and respected was at the center of this horror. We needed solid proof, so we planned to confront him directly. The night of the confrontation, the air was thick with tension. Mr. Collins and I, along with a few trusted colleagues, gathered in the CEO's luxurious office. Mr. Sefu sat behind his enormous desk, his expression calm, but his eyes wary. "Mr. Sefu," Mr. Collins began, "we have reason to believe you've been involved in illicit activities that have jeopardized the safety and well-being of our employees." Mr. Sefu raised an eyebrow, his calm demeanor unshaken. "That's a serious accusation, Mr. Collins. Do you have proof?" "We have enough to warrant a thorough investigation," Mr. Collins replied, his voice steady. "And we have Jide's testimony." Mr. Sefu turned his gaze to me, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "Ah, Jide, I remember you. You've done well for yourself." I swallowed hard, the memory of the ritual and the wooden figure vivid in my mind. "I know what you've been doing. The rituals, the sacrifices. It has to stop." Mr. Sefu leaned back in his chair, his smile widening. "You have no idea what you're dealing with, Jide. The power we've harnessed is beyond your comprehension. It's what keeps this company on top." Anger surged through me. "At what cost? How many lives have you ruined?" Mr. Sefu's smile faded, replaced by a cold, calculating expression. "Sometimes sacrifices must be made for the greater good. You should understand that." The room grew silent, the weight of his words pressing down on us. But Mr. Collins wasn't backing down. "This ends now. We're turning everything over to the authorities. Your reign of terror is over." Mr. Sefu stood, his demeanor still composed. "You're making a grave mistake. You think you can just walk away from this? The power we control will consume you." As security escorted Mr. Sefu out, I felt a strange mix of relief and dread. The nightmare was far from over. The investigation would continue, and the company would need to heal from the deep wounds inflicted by its own leaders. In the following weeks, the full extent of the conspiracy was exposed. Many top executives were arrested, and the company underwent a massive overhaul. New policies were put in place to ensure nothing like this could ever happen again. I tried to move on, but the echoes of that dark time lingered. The drumming in my ears had faded, but the memories remained vivid. I had faced the darkness and helped bring it to light. but the scars would always be there. Now, as I look back on those harrowing days, I realize how close I came to losing myself. The power of ambition and the lure of dark rituals had nearly consumed me. But I emerged stronger, determined to forge a new path free from the shadows of the past.